Do you want to lose 20 or more pounds this month by eating bacon and cheese? Who wouldn't, right? Let me tell you about the keto diet. I have done the keto diet twice, and I've had successes and failures both times. I have lost a total of 51 pounds on the keto diet. I'm going to show you here a quick before and after picture. So you can see quite the difference. That's 51 pounds in my face. So the keto diet is a high-fat, moderate protein, low-carb lifestyle. And there are many pros and many cons to this diet, so I'm going to tell you about those. As Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible until it's done. So what is ketosis? Ketosis is a metabolic state of having ketones from the liver in the blood. So basically what that means is when you eat, your body goes through a process to break down the foods. Carbohydrates trigger the pancreas to produce insulin and the liver to produce glucose. The glucose provides energy to your body as it breaks down, and the insulin is what moves the glucose all around the body. So when this happens, the fat that you're eating isn't needed for energy because it's using the glucose from the carbohydrates. So it's stored for, a rainy day when your body thinks it's hungry. How does that help you lose weight, you ask? When you don't give your body the carbohydrates that it thinks it needs to break down for energy, then you go through the process of, your liver breaks down stored fat and puts you in ketosis. So by not providing your body with carbohydrates to turn into energy, your body automatically goes to your rainy day fund and pulls your stored fat and burns that as energy. So this causes the weight to fall off of most people very quickly. And also, when you decrease your carbohydrate intake, you typically decrease your caloric intake as well. They kind of go hand in hand. So the keto diet was actually originally used for people with epilepsy, and then it was found to have a ton of other health benefits. Those include blood sugar control for diabetics, because like I said, the carbohydrates produce glucose, so less carbs is less glucose, which means less insulin that you need. It also increases your mental clarity because ketones fuel your brain. And the less carbs you take in, you're decreasing the spikes and drops in your blood sugar, which, keeps you at, a more focused state because there's less ups and downs. Keto can also help with increased energy and controlled hunger because your body is using your stored fat for energy, which is a way more reliable source than food alone. And by increasing your fat intake, you feel more satisfied, more full, and it makes it easier to not cheat, which is a big problem with a lot of people on their diets. So let's talk about the food on keto. The food is typically pretty good. Bacon, eggs, cheese, like I said before, those are all good things, right? Some of my favorites is bacon and eggs, crustless pizza, coffee, like I said, all the cheese you could ever want. It really is good food. I miss things like bread, donuts, and soda. Those are my three favorites that I miss. But the longer you go, the easier it is to give up those cravings, for results. Some of my favorite meals, my go-to meals are like grilled chicken, and I make it several different ways. Regular grilled, you can do a Parmesan cheese crusted. My favorite, I think, right now is a pizza chicken, where it's grilled chicken, Parmesan cheese, marinara sauce, and pepperonis, and it's all baked, so good. You can eat meat and cheese trays. You can do crustless pizza, which is just Parmesan cheese, or you can do like a 4 cheese blend. You put it in a pan, throw some toppings on it, throw a lid on it, let it melt, and then you dip it in marinara sauce. So it tastes just like pizza without the crust. There's also many options like cauliflower and those sort of things instead of crust as well. One of my favorite things as well is keto coffee. I'm actually going to show you how to make that real quick. So it's just a Premier Protein shake or any brand, any flavor. I prefer caramel. 4 ounces of heavy cream, which I've already put in there, and then just some cold brew coffee. So let me mix this up real quick. So you take your cream or your heavy cream that's already in there because it gives you good fats and low carbs. Your protein shake, which, like I said, I like caramel. Another one of my favorites is chocolate, and then I add some peanut butter in there as well. And then your coffee. And then it mixes all up. Looks good and creamy. And let me tell you, it tastes just like Starbucks, and it doesn't cost me $8, so that's a bonus as well. So, you know, this diet sounds like a magic fix-all, and of course, with all good things, it's not. You know, there are some cons to this as well. My very, very least favorite thing about keto is that you can't have fruit. Occasionally you can have berries, but, you know, my favorites is watermelon and stuff like that in the summer, and you can't have those because they have too many carbs. I do occasionally, when I have the room, eat strawberries and whipped cream because whipped cream is keto friendly. Thank you very much. And, you know, blueberries, blackberries, any kind of berries essentially are good. But most other fruits are actually very, very high in sugar. And our liver doesn't know the difference between carbohydrates and sugar. It thinks it's the same thing. So when you eat that sugar, it does the same things the carbs do. It turns into glucose and sends your body into that whole process. Keto can also take, you know, some getting used to. Takes a while to adapt your body, you know, to that way of eating. Some people experience the keto flu. I did both times. You have flu-like symptoms, you have fatigue, you have nausea, there's some, you know, stomach cramping, brain fog, you just really can't think. And that's just your body, you know, it's going into that rainy day mode. You know, it thinks that you're starving because you're not giving it carbs, so it's having to pull from your supply. It takes a few days to get used to that. Some people can't get through that part of it. It is very rough. Another problem with keto is it's very redundant. If you are kind of picky like I am, I don't eat veggies, green beans as much as I'll eat. So if you're more of a grown-up than I am and eat your veggies, then it gives you a few more options because there's lots of things you can do with low-carb veggies. But for people like me, it's a lot of meats and cheeses and the same things over and over, so you kind of have to find different ways to do the same things or you'll get burnt out. One important thing that I did teach myself is that, you know, food is for fuel and not for pleasure. And I know a lot of people have that same problem. You know, you eat when you're happy, you eat when you're celebrating, you eat when you're sad. You have to try to remind yourself that that's not what food is for. Food is to fuel your body, and that's it. So changing that mentality helps also. Another con with keto is that eating at restaurants or going to social gatherings is very, very difficult. If you don't plan ahead, you'll find yourself cheating or being unable to eat, and neither of those are good things. So meal prep is definitely a must. Once you get in the routine of meal prep, it's not so bad, but it is very time consuming. I spend like 4 hours every weekend on meal prep, and that's hard to do, especially, you know, if you have kids in school and work and other obligations. So it's time consuming to do meal prep. A lot of times when we go out, I have to either eat first or take something with me, which can also be inconvenient if you're going to like a restaurant because they look at you like you're crazy when you come in with something else to eat. So, or if you're the one sitting there not eating anything. Another issue is irregularity or constipation because you're typically eating a lot of cheese, you know, not a lot of things high in fiber, so you tend to get constipated. Your body will eventually adjust and adapt to that, which makes it a little bit easier. So if you think keto might not be for you, but it sounds like something you might want to try, maybe a little bit too restrictive, there are some other diets similar to keto. The main one that I've heard of is paleo, and it's actually the exact same thing as keto, except you can have fruit, which is something that I may revert to shortly once I reach my goal on my weight. You know, being in ketosis is something that you can come in and out of, and if you have a cheat meal, it knocks you out of ketosis. When you do paleo, you never reach ketosis, so eating the fruit doesn't knock you out of it. It just lowers your carbs and your calories and your proteins and that sort of thing. So whether it's, you know, bacon and eggs or salad and water or whatever diet food you're choosing, as long as you're doing something to make healthier choices, then you're definitely on the right track. But as you can see, there are good and bad things about the keto diet. You know, there are many healthy benefits and lifestyle benefits. There's also some cons, so it's really just up to you and if it's something that you feel like you can do. So I hope I have answered any questions that you may have about keto and that you can make an informed decision on whether or not it will work for you. Good luck.